Namaste and welcome to Times Health Plus. I'm Miss Vinita Sakpal, a senior nutritionist from the Yoga Institute, here to guide you all on a new topic, which is food and thyroid health. So, so far we are learning about different health issues, and I think we have come to a conclusion, or we have come to a part where we have to focus on the small parts of our body also, right? So when we talk about the thyroid, it is one of the very smallest gland in our body, and it has a very big impact in overall functions of our body. So that we are going to understand in today's session. If you see in today's session, the thyroid health has been divided into two parts. First part, I'm going to talk about the foundation, like what exactly is the thyroid hormone, or what exactly the work it does or function it does in our body. And in the next section we talk about little complications that usually occurs because of the thyroid. Okay, so with this, let's understand what exactly we are going to learn in today's session. Today you will get a very clear understanding about what exactly is the thyroid gland, where exactly it is located, and how its hormones that are released through it helps into different functions, how it has a very direct effect on our metabolism, and certain common problems that usually occurs because of thyroid, and what are the food or lifestyle that will be related for balancing your thyroid functions. Okay, so with this, let's start and understand exactly what is thyroid. Okay, before that, can you just tell me in a comment section how many of you are having issues related to thyroid hormone? Few, there could be hypothyroidism, there could be people with hyperthyroidism, there could be with autoimmune thyroid functions. So do let me know in the comment section before we proceed with understanding the thyroid in more detail. Okay, already there's a good comment that have come. Okay. Anybody who has related issues with thyroid, please do write in the comment section. Let's see how many people over here in today's crowd do have issues related to it. And it's very important to understand thyroid right from a foundation, right from a base. Okay. So meanwhile, I'll just start and making you understand that what exactly is thyroid. Thyroid is one of a, it's a very small gland which is in a butterfly shape, near located right in front of your neck. Okay, it's very small and it's in a butterfly shape located near your neck. Now what it actually do is it's like a controller of all your body functions. So for example, if in a company a manager manages all the departments, right? Similarly, thyroid is the one which manages multiple functions in our body. So it's like a controller, it controls everybody. Okay, if thyroid is getting disrupted or it's not working well, then the control power will go off and functions will not happen that vigorously in the body, right? So despite it being a very small in structure, still it has a very big impact in our body. Okay, fine. Let's move ahead and understand then what exactly it do. It produces two hormones from our body, from the thyroid area, from a thyroid gland, and that hormones goes into the bloodstream and then it starts functioning into multiple areas. So number one, what it does, it first of all decides or tells us or controls how much energy we have. You can you tell me that how many of you people are having energy issues, like you feel fatigued throughout the day or tired throughout the day, or maybe start of the day is very tiring or end of the day is very tiring. So please write it in the comment section if anybody is suffering from energy issues. Okay, because the low energy levels are very directly connected with the thyroid. Okay, Sandhya ji says she's suffering from thyroid. Another says TSH shows more reading. Absolutely, these are the signs that your thyroid hormones are not functioning that adequately. Okay, and if you see this kind of symptoms where you feel very low in energy throughout the day, where you feel that somehow my moods are not being in right way, suddenly you become irritated, angry, sad, agitated, This sudden mood swings are also because sometimes because of the thyroid hormones. Okay, so thyroid hormones usually manages your energy levels. It decides the food that you consume, how quickly it should burn and convert into calories or convert into energy. Okay, so that how quickly the food should be digested or how quickly the food should be metabolized to generate energy, that is also dependent on thyroid. Okay, then even your body temperature, how, see, there is a certain internal body temperature, right? So that should always balance with the out external temperature, because our external temperature keeps on changing. So how your body adjusts with the external temperature, how it maintains the internal temperature in all the seasons, these all work is being done by thyroid. Okay, similarly your heart rate, how adequately your heart is functioning, how it's beating in a right way, that also depends on the thyroid. So thyroid is not just about your metabolism part, it do have another major functions also. Okay, next is about the brain performance. As I mentioned, if you are a person who gets little irritated, a lot of mood swings are experienced at any time, it just aggravates, then that means somehow the signal between your brain and your thyroid hormones are not happening that adequately. Okay, so if we just conclude and say what thyroid actually do, it is like a speed regulator, right? So for the fan, how we have a regulator in the house, we keep on changing the regulator numbers, right? Some 1 2 3 till 5. So that's how your thyroid decides the speed of everything: your heart, your brain, your body temperature, your energy levels, the food that is getting converted into energies. This speed has been dependent on the thyroid hormone. Okay, and when this goes for a toss, then we start seeing different health issues. Okay, fine. Now, let's understand the metabolism part. Now, when we talk about thyroid, we have always heard from many people that it impacts your metabolism, it impacts your digestion. Then, what exactly is metabolism? So, when we use this word, this means that the food that we eat, right, that food has to break down into small particles, and then it has to convert into the energy in your cells. Okay, so how quickly the breakdown is happening, how the glucose is gradually released into your bloodstream, and once it has been released, and how it is getting entered into your cells to generate the energy. This whole process, if it's in a right speed, then your thyroid hormones are working very nicely. But if the speed is not adequate, if it's too fast or too slow, that's how the hormone is getting impacted with multiple other reasons. Okay, you must have seen people that one person who eats the same quantity as you is still the lean, and another person who eats the same quantity but gains the weight very rapidly. So why it is like this? Because the metabolism of every individual is different, right? If you eat even small amount, still you will, if you are experiencing weight gain, that means there is imbalance with your hormones. Okay, similarly, if you eating same amount but still you are lean, that means your metabolism is fast. Okay, so your metabolism decides how your body is going to maintain your weight. Okay, so that's how we can say that thyroid plays a very major role in the metabolism. Whether your metabolism is fast or slow, your thyroid decides it. Okay, fine. Now, now let's understand about the thyroid hormones. When we come towards the hormone part, the thyroid gland has two main hormones called as T3 and T4. Okay, T3 is triiodothyronine and T4 is thyroxine. So usually your body do produce good amount of T4 more, but your body accepts T3 as an active form to convert certain things or to do particular function. Okay, both are important, but T4 converts itself into T3 in presence of iodine. Okay, so this T3 conversion, if it's happening very nicely, then your functions of anything that is related to thyroid hormone will happen more easily. Okay, so if you see these hormones once released from the thyroid gland, they travel in the blood, and through blood then they reach to each and every part of the body to do its particular work. Okay, so what usually they do, they decides how much energy need to be burned and how much energy need to be stored. See, stored energy is also very important. Every time burning calories is not good. Okay, when you slow down the when you store the energy, that energy will be used up in the emergency cases. For example, if you're fasting for a day, you're not eating anything or you're eating very less, still your body internal functions need to run properly, right? So during that time, what will happen, the stored energy will start getting used up, right? So the condensed form, which is the fats, they go into the stored form. The fat soluble vitamins go into the stored form. Then there are protein goes into the stored form. Even glucose, few is readily used and excess goes into the storage form in your liver and in your muscles, in a glycogen form, right? So these stored forms will be used up when you're fasting, when you're doing some exercise. So during the exertion time, this all stored energies are getting used up. So on daily basis, whatever we eat food, few is been expelled from your body and few is been stored inside your body. Okay, expel as in used up while doing particular actions. So when you do movement, when you talk, when you see, when you lie down, when you do any sort of movements, there the energy is getting used up. That's how continuous supply of energy is must. If you have longer gaps, you eating very less food in a day, that's how we see the energy levels are going down, right? Because your body requires continuous supply. Hmm? So this hormone, the thyroid hormones T3 and T4, decides how much to burn the energy for different functions or daily activities and how much to store inside your body. Okay, so this is, we can say these hormones are like a manager which decides about your body fuel, what to do of it, whether to store and whether to expel it. Okay, so these are the two major hormones. Now, depending upon these two major hormones, we see few conditions. If these hormones are not functioning well because of particular reasons, then certain problems are seen into thyroid function. Okay, so two common problems we have heard till now is hypothyroidism and another is hyperthyroidism. Okay, when we talk about hypothyroidism, hypo means less, low, slow. Okay, so that means your thyroid hormones are not functioning that rightly in a right speed, I would say. Not adequately, it's not working in a right speed. So that's, if a speed is low, what will happen, everything, every function of your body will work very slowly. So if everything is working very slowly, you will become more sluggish, more tired, more lethargic. Okay, because everything is happening very gradually inside your body. There is a speed that need to be maintained. If that is not maintained, then you are ending up with hypothyroidism. Okay, fine. So next is hyperthyroidism. Hyper means everything is working super fast. So when it's working too fast, even that time every part of your body is working extra. Hormones are working extra, heart rate is working extra, blood circulation is happening vigorously, your even your eating patterns, the metabolism happens very quick, your energies are getting used up very quick, therefore this person will be very lean. Okay, and hypothyroidism, you will see person is gaining weight because everything is happening very slowly, and therefore things, energy gets stored inside your body more than expelling out, because you become tired and therefore you don't feel like even working out, like exercise also doesn't happen. to use that energy. So that's how in hypothyroidism usually we see people who are gaining their weight, and in hyperthyroidism we see a person who is losing their weight. The person is becoming very lean, like malnourished. Okay, so both the condition do what? It is disturbing your body balance. Okay, so now will understand each of these two conditions into more detail, like why hypothyroidism usually happens and why hyper happens. Okay, fine. Let's understand the signs of hypothyroidism. As I mentioned earlier, hypothyroidism means hormones are working very slow, therefore your body functions also slow down. Okay, number one, let's understand the weight gain. We see a lot of weight gain issues in hypothyroidism, and that too very rapid weight gain. It's not very slow. Suddenly within a month they are gaining 4 kgs, 5 kgs, 6 kgs, right? So when there is this rapid weight gain, that means why it is happening? Your metabolism is becoming slow. That is the reason weight gain is happening rapidly. So what happens when your thyroid hormones T3 and T4 are not getting released properly, because of which they are unable to manage the speed of the energy that the food is developing inside the body. Usually what happens, food goes into your stomach, foods gets broken down, releases some energies, and that energy production usually happens inside the cell. So this whole process, the digestion, if it's going low, the conversion if happening very less, then what will happen? The energies that are released inside the cells will also be very slow. So when the metabolism is slow, energy production will be slow. Okay, that's the reason we start gaining weight, because every food is just accumulated inside your body. Okay, the release of nutrients or release of excreta, unwanted material from the food digestion happens very slow, because of which more of waste will be formed and it will stay inside your intestine for longer duration. That also leads to constipation condition. So weight gain happens because of metabolism, slow metabolism, and because the energy production is low due to slow metabolism, oxygen supply is not reaching to each and every cell. See why energy production happens inside our cells? So that along with that, some oxygen, energy is the oxygen that pass on to each and every other part of the body, right? So if the metabolism is slow, energy production will go low, and therefore oxygen won't be able to reach to each and every part of the body, and therefore we feel very fatigued, tired, sluggish, slow, lethargic. Okay. Number two, during this hypothyroidism phase, you will see even the cell renewal part is also becoming very slow. So what happens on daily basis? Our cells, which are getting ruptured or which are getting tear enough, they go into repair condition, specifically in your sleep time. Okay, so every day there is some repair, every day there is some new cell formation, or every after a few days there is this new cell renewals. So if the metabolism is slow, if the hypothyroidism is seen, during that time this cell renewal is also becoming very slow. So when cells are not getting renewed properly, blood circulation to your skin, to your hair reaches very slowly. So usually what happens, blood circulation first it reaches to our all vital organs, then it goes to our skin and our hair. Okay, so if the skin cells are only not getting properly renewed, then the blood circulation will also not reach to your vital organs properly, and then reaching to your hair and your skin becomes very difficult. Okay, so that happens, blood circulation is not reaching to your skin and hair, therefore we start seeing the skin is becoming dry, there is a lot of hair fall. So these are all signs of your hypothyroidism. Okay, even you will see the protein synthesis, that means new cell formation is nothing but made from proteins. Also, if a protein is going less into your diet, then also your cells renewal will become poor. Okay, so that's how it's mentioned that when there is hypothyroidism, poor protein synthesis is also seen. That means new cells are not getting formed properly. Okay, and as mentioned, if a metabolism is sluggish, that is food getting converted into energy, this process is becoming very slow. That means food stays inside your stomach for longer duration than actually it should stay, right? So in this process, what is happening, the gut is getting little overburdened, that so much of food is there, now I have to break it down gradually, then I have to push it ahead for small intestine to absorb the nutrients, then waste will go into the large intestine. If this whole process becomes very slowly, then the food stays in the intestine for longer duration. Because if first food is only not digested very well, and then we are entering the second slot of meal, okay, then the food will just keep on loading inside our stomach and body will overburden to digest it properly. So in this whole process, extra waste will be formed, but it will stay inside the large intestine for longer duration. And if the water is not sufficient in the diet, if the fiber is missing, then because of this poor gut motility, your constipation issues are arrived in hypothyroidism. Okay, so food stays in the intestine for longer duration, lot of water is being absorbed over there, and that leads to hard stools because it's staying over there for longer duration. Okay, so this is one of the condition in hypothyroidism. Constipation is the side effect. Hmm? Now you will also see, as we learned, that thyroid manages your body temperature also. So since the metabolism is slow, the thyroid hormones are not releasing properly, because of that your hormones are also not working effectively. Why? Because your thyroid hormone is actually balancing your overall endocrine system. If you see, it's like a main manager. So because of which your other hormones are also not functioning that adequately. So if hormones are very low and they are not reaching to each and every place to do its function, the heat generation becomes very less in the body. See, usually what happens, the food which is converted into an energy, it is a fuel. How is fuel? Fuels are heaty in nature. So if that is only not happening properly inside the body, how the heat generation will happen? Therefore, a person who is hypothyroid might feel very cold often, right? Like they might see their hands are getting cold quickly, or their legs feet are getting cold quickly, or they might get slight seasonal change. Because of slight seasonal change, they might feel cold very frequently. Okay, they cannot withstand the low temperatures. That could be one of the reasons. And lastly, as I mentioned, the way thyroid hormones are connected with the hormones directly, all our hormones, similarly thyroid hormone is also connected to our brain, because the release of these hormones, thyroid hormones, is being signaled by your brain where the TSH is sitting. Okay, so TSH will give signal through the brain and then the hormones are getting released. So if brain activity becomes slow in the hypothyroidism, your neurotransmitter activity also reduces. What is neurotransmitters? So every brain nerve end, there are these neurotransmitters sitting. They are the one which send message from one cell to another cell to do particular action. Now if I'm moving my hand, this action movement that I'm doing, that is because neurotransmitters have given that signal to my cells. That's the reason I can do movement. So these all things become very slow, the brain activity becomes very slow. You start getting forgetfulness, there is a lot of memory issue, confusion, focus, decision making becomes very difficult. So these are the conditions usually seen into the hypothyroidism. Okay, so if any person who is seeing that they are gaining their weight very rapidly, if they feel fatigue, if they have hair fall or dry skin, if they have constant constipation, then if they have feeling cold often or brain fog, then these are the signs of hypothyroid. Okay, these are the early signs. You have to understand these signs, and first you have to do the blood check just to understand where you lie. If there is low numbers into your thyroid hormones, then you are in a hypothyroid condition. Okay, so this is how we have to keep a check on what your body is giving you signals. Then you can accordingly take a call to do particular treatment on it. Okay, now let's understand about the hyperthyroidism. When we talk about hyper means everything is happening very, very fast, right? So in this, what is happening? Your thyroid hormones are released in excess amount. Okay, now if excess has been released, metabolism will become very, very fast. Your calories will burn very quickly. So this person, you will see, it's very chanchal kind of, that everything need to be done quickly. They do get anger also very quickly, right? So this people are the one which wants things to be done very quickly. They don't have patience in them, and they are always running from here and there. They do not sit properly. They do not sit properly at one place and think or give rest to their body. They're always in a moving positions. Okay, so in here you will see that person is losing their weight a lot. Okay, they will eat also very less, or they might eat sufficient also, but still their energy is so high that it's getting used up very quickly. Okay, second thing, fast heartbeat. So fast heartbeat, why? Because in hypo we saw the heartbeats are getting slow. Usually heartbeat function is maintained by the thyroid hormones. So if it's very hyper, the too much of hormones are being released, then it stimulates the heart more, and therefore more oxygen demand will be there, more energy demand will be there. That means too much energy will be drawn from the food compared to the waste, and that energy will be used for your heart function. Okay, so this condition will be seen in the hypothyroidism. Next, you will see a person who is having more release of thyroid hormones will have more overactive nervous system. Like everything will happen very quickly, the adrenal will release very quickly, and therefore there will be a chances that you might become anxious about particular things. You become restless because you want everything to be done the way you want, or you want everything to be done very quickly, right? So person might end up with anxiety issues. Even heat production in your body increases, because body temperature is managed by the thyroid, right? So heat production increases, and therefore your body manages somehow to bring balance between your body temperature, and that's why you sweat a lot. Okay, in hypothyroidism usually people sweat a lot. Hmm. Next is you will see, since brain activity is very quick and sharp, this will overstimulate the signals through the nerves, the neurotransmitter that which I was talking about. So all the overstimulation will happen, excess amount of energy will be released, hyperactivity will be seen in these nerve messaging signals, and because of that there will be episodes of tremors. You will see people that their hands are shaking continuously, or a part of some body is shaking continuously. These are all tremors. That is because overstimulated nerves are functioning. Okay, next you will see difficulty in sleeping. Because your brain is super active, you won't get a good sleep. You might end up with insomnia conditions also. Okay, and lastly you will see frequent motions. You will see the many people, you will see the people who are little lean, they end up clearing their bowels twice a day or thrice a day, or after every meal they go to clear their bowels. So that is because the metabolism is very fast. Your body is digesting food very quickly, and less time is there for absorption. So since the food is digesting very quickly, the nutrients are not getting properly absorbed, and it is getting expelled from your body, because of which there will be a chances of deficiency seen in such kind of people. Okay, so if deficiencies will be seen, then of course they'll become more weak and more tired. Okay, so these are the all signs that usually happens in hyperthyroidism, quite opposite to the hypothyroidism. Okay, fine. Now let's understand about the women's health connection with thyroid. It is said, the study has been done, that thyroid problems are majorly seen into women's compared to men's. Okay, so why? Because there is a axis inside our body, like brain axis connected to thyroid hormones, thyroid axis connected directly to your hormonal health, reproductive hormonal health, like your estrogen, progesterone, and all that stuff. Okay, so that's the reason you see more of thyroid conditions in women's compared to men's. Hmm? Now, let's understand the connection through very basic thing, which is period cycles. Now, every woman get periods in every month, right? They are bleeding every month. In this condition, what is happening? If a person is having thyroid condition, like a hypothyroidism, then what will happen? The hormones are not releasing that adequately, right? So, since the hormones are not released properly, therefore, the conversion of T4 to T3 is not happening quickly. Because of this conversion, which is not happening quickly, your hormones are going in imbalanced state. Because T3 is the one which regulate your hormones. That means how much estrogen should be released, how much progesterone need to be released. So that becomes difficult. So in hypothyroidism, if the T4 conversion is not happening into T3, then your estrogen hormone goes high and progesterone hormone goes low. When there is excess amount of estrogen in our body, what happens? Your uterine lining becomes thick, and therefore you will see, and once your uterine linings are becoming thick, there is a pressure on your uterine, right? On your uterus. So because of which you will see a lot of heavy bleeding in the period cycle. This happens in hypothyroidism condition. Okay, so heavy bleeding will be seen in such kind of people. Number two could be hyperthyroidism. Everything is happening very quickly, right? So ovulation is happening so quickly that somehow you will see that your period cycles are becoming less, like 1 or 2 days you are bleeding, scanty periods will happen, or sometimes it stops very quickly, like you might end up with early menopause also. Okay, so these are the conditions, like hypo and hyperthyroidism affects your period cycle. Okay, number two, fertility. Now, as mentioned, in terms of fertility, what happens? Your estrogen hormones and your progesterone hormones are going for a toss. Because of which, and because the periods are not functioning that effectively in this condition, there are higher chances towards infertility. Okay, because right amount of blood flow is not releasing, right amount of hormones are not functioning, ovaries are not getting right supply of blood flow, because of which infertility is majorly seen in in thyroid conditions. Okay, now in pregnancy, how thyroid is connected, over here, if in pregnancy, usually baby completely dependent on mother's health, right? So in womb, the fetus, the baby doesn't have thyroid hormones, so complete thyroid function depends on mother's supply. So if mother is already having slow supply of hormones, which is hypothyroidism, or very high supply of thyroid hormones like hypothyroidism, then it will have an impact on baby's growth. If the less amount of thyroid hormones are supplied, then the baby will not be able to grow properly. You will see miscarriages in such kind of person. In women, you will see that mother is undergoing baby's difficulties, like malformations of baby's growth will be seen, or you will see that somehow the baby once it's out of the womb won't be able to grow in that adequate way. Okay, so that is because your mother's supply was low, and therefore baby has suffered through it. Okay, second could be because of hyperthyroidism, where too much of thyroid hormones are released, there are high chances of preterm babies, that early delivery of babies are seen into such kind of conditions. Okay, so this is how thyroid is connected with the pregnancy. Okay, now lastly, hormone balance. So as mentioned, there is all connectivity, like brain gives, TSH gives signals to thyroid that now you have to release the hormones. Then hormones, in what format or in what amount they are released, decides how your hormones are going to function, like whether the progesterone will should go down or should go up, whether the estrogen should go up or down, or testosterones are getting dominant on it. These all things decides your release. These all things are decided only by the release of hormones, in which way they are released. So that means your thyroid hormones decides your reproductive hormonal balance. Okay, that's the reason majorly we see thyroid issues in females. Okay, yeah. Now, let's understand about the nutrients which are very important in thyroid. This is one of the important slide. You can note it down. Number one is iodine. Why iodine is so important in thyroid? Because it decides the conversion of T4 to T3, and T3 is the active form your body requires to do all the functions in the body. So ये conversion होने के लिए iodine की जरूरत बहुत है. This conversion requires iodine. Okay, from where you get the iodine? From your table salt, sea salt. Okay, there you will get all your salts. If it's fortified with iodine, then of course you will get a good supply of iodine. Seaweeds do have iodine inside it. Spirulina has iodine inside it. So these are the extra sources. But table salt is the source where iodine we get in the body. Now, if you are hypothyroid, then you require iodine to release the T3, right? That means you should have the white salt, the sea salt that we get in the market. You should not have rock salt, because in rock salt iodine is absent or it's very less. Okay, that's the reason in hypothyroidism you should have table sea salt. In hyperthyroidism, already too much iodine has been released to function. That's the reason we have to have rock salt. Okay, because in rock salt we have less iodine or very negligible iodine. Clear? Next is selenium, which activates the thyroid hormones. Activates as in, the once the signal comes from your TSH to your hormones, then the activation of the hormone happens, and then they will release. Okay, so after release, then the conversion happens, like T4 converts into T3 and all that stuff. Okay, so selenium is the one which activates the hormones that now you have to release. Now selenium presence is present in sunflower seeds and Brazil nut. If a person who is hypothyroid should have selenium into your diet. Okay, now next is zinc, which supports your hormonal balance a lot. Okay, so zinc is present into your pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, flax seeds also a little bit. You will see all varieties of nuts also will have good source of zinc. Whole grain also have good source of zinc, but majorly you will find into nuts and seeds and legumes also. Okay, so they helps into the hormone balance. Next is the iron, which supports the thyroid enzyme function. That means when the conversion need to happen, certain enzymes are required, right? So iron supports this conversion, the enzyme release to convert the T4 to T3, and it helps to supply these all to different parts of the body, right? So for that reason iron is equally important. For this you have to make sure you supply good iron sources. From where you will get the iron? A very excellent source is your halim seeds, which is garden cress seeds. Then you will get iron from your ragi, rajma, moringa, excellent source. You will get from dates, black raisins, These are the decent. Spinach, methi leaves also have good iron source. So these all things you can add into your regular diet to maintain your iron levels. And lastly is the proteins. Proteins are very, very important in everything, I would say, because proteins are responsible to make new cells, to make new hormones, right? So if you want to support a hormone transport of thyroid, then protein is equally important. Okay, so these are all nutrients which are essential in thyroid problems, and having them on daily basis in a right quantity is important. So balance is very important into your diet. Okay, now let's understand about the lifestyle factors that usually affect the thyroid health. Okay, number one is stress. So, what is happening in stress? Cortisol increases, and when cortisol increases, your thyroid hormones are getting affected. Okay, because of which you will see it impacts your thyroid supply to particular part of your body. Okay, so in stress cortisol increases, we crave also a lot, and when we crave we eat unwanted materials, or we eat uh, unhealthy foods, and when we eat them in excess we leads to weight gain. Okay, so that's how stress is connected with your weight gain also, and that happens because your thyroid hormones are not functioning well, metabolism is not functioning well. Cortisol always hinders the metabolism, it slows down the metabolism, and therefore we start seeing weight gain issues. Okay, now next is poor sleep. So in poor sleep basically what happens, uh, so when your sleep, your thyroid hormone basically depends on your circadian rhythm. What is circadian rhythm? A biological clock which is sitting inside our body, which works on the nature that at 8 to 9 the metabolism is medium, then from 12 to 1 the metabolism is high. So you can have a good full-fledged balanced meal so that the digestion happens quickly and absorption happens very nicely. Then towards the evening the metabolism becomes slow, right? Because we are going towards resting our body. So these are, this depends upon the nature, the digestive fire that we have that functions on the sun, and this is what circadian rhythm is. So according to ayurveda, if you listen, then pitta phase is there, vata phase is there, kapha phase is there, again pitta, vata, kapha. So these are all the circadian rhythm, and depending upon this circadian rhythm your thyroid hormone functions. Okay, so now if you are sleeping late, if you end up sleeping very late, then it will affect the thyroid hormone, because every every hormone at what speed it should release or at what duration it should release depends upon the circadian rhythm, right? So if you're sleeping late, what will happen? Your the healing part that need to be done during your night time will not happen adequately. We are sleeping in a dormant state, our body is not moving much, but internally the systems are working to clean everything. Okay, night time the metabolism is slow. Why? Because it just have to do all the healing work, it has to do all the cleaning detoxification work, restoring the memories, repairing certain wear and tear that has happened in a day. All these things happen in the night time. But if we are sleeping only very late, then how your metabolism will work properly? So if your metabolism is not working properly, your melatonin hormone is not getting released and your cortisol is going high, therefore your sleep will be delayed even more. Okay, so this is how poor sleeping pattern impacts your metabolism. Okay, next is processed foods. So when we eat junk items like refined flour, refined products, or processed or packaged trans fat food products which has a lot of sugars and oils unwanted, all these things when we consume on regular basis, firstly it will impact your hormones. The release of hormones will not happen adequately, and therefore we experience cortisol that is going high, and that leads to weight gain. Okay, so that's how your thyroid hormone is getting affected because of this poor quality food intake. Okay. Next is nutrient deficiencies. So if the deficiency of iodine is there, then your T4 will not be able to get converted into T3. If selenium is deficient in your body, then your activation of hormones will not happen. If your iron supply is low, then how your hormones will travel to multiple places. If there is a low protein intake, then synthesis of hormones will not happen, right? So nutrient deficiency also impact the thyroid condition. Okay. And lastly is the sedentary lifestyle. What happens in sedentary lifestyle? We are always sitting, we are not using up our body. There is very less amount of movements that is happening throughout the day. So when we are not using up our body, that means we are not using the energies that has been made from a food. So that energy stays inside your body, stored inside your body, and that gets converted into fat. And when fat starts accumulating, we start seeing weight gain issues and multiple other cholesterol issues. So that's how sedentary life has been connected with the thyroid conditions. Okay. So what does this all say is that our modern lifestyle has become such that we believed on a lot of convenient options. Like we want everything to be quickly absorbed in our body or quickly available to our body, like convenient foods we buy. And therefore, due to this, we are not realizing what type of food we are putting in our body, what type of lifestyle we are building up. And this is how it has a silent impact on our thyroid. The way we sleep, the way we eat, the way we sit for longer hours, lack of movements, these things all impact our thyroid hormones and it makes it even more sluggish. That's the reason hypothyroidism is seen even more compared to hyperthyroid. Okay. Now, so for this reason, early awareness is very important. If you understand the symptoms at early stage only, then you will be able to cure your thyroid issues, right? So what could be the early, why, what, how this early awareness will help you? It will start preventing the complications. What could be the complications? Infertility issue, pregnancy issues, or weight gain issues, or even weight loss, rapid weight loss issues. So mental issues, hormonal imbalance, this all will be prevented, right? So that's the reason awareness is very important. Secondly, it if you know before only that your thyroid is not functioning well, or the signs and symptoms are such that depicts the thyroid condition, then you will start working on it and you will start to improvise your metabolism. If you have hypothyroidism, you need to make your metabolism better by you doing physical activity more, by making sure you have right food into your diet. And simultaneously, if you're hypothyroid, then you have to rest, give calmness to your body, rest your body, rest from your mental angle. So this is how it will improvise your metabolism. And thirdly, maintaining a healthy weight, bringing your weight towards your ideal body weight is important. Not exact, but at least nearby it, and maintaining it is equally important. If you do these things and you change your lifestyle, for sure your thyroid will come down. Thyroid conditions are not such that once you get it, it will stay for lifetime. No. If you work on your lifestyle, gradually it will come within the range. Okay. It's just a matter of bringing things into balanced state. Okay. Fine. With this, I have come up with a challenge for a week. We have concluded today's session, and whatever we have learned today, depending upon that, I have created a task of the week. So, what's your goal to do? You have to practice this 4 steps which I have asked you for next 7 days, and see how do you feel. Any person who is going through a thyroid conditions, if they practice this very consciously, mindfully, you will surely see a change into your energy levels. Okay. So number one, what you have to do first, you have to observe your energy during the day and your night. How do you feel? Which is the time slot that makes you feel more low in energy and more high in energy? You have to analyze that. Okay. Once you analyze, then you have to start adding proteins into your each meal, because protein stays in the stomach for longer duration. That means the breakdown of the protein is slowest compared to carbs and fat. Therefore, the energy supply for good 3 to 4 hours is well sustained. And then after 4 hours only, you will get the hunger to eat the next meal. Okay. So for that reason, you have to start adding protein into your each meal. Number three, you have to stop and reduce as much as possible junk food items. Even though they are very tasty in appearance, they are very nice, very appealing for our taste buds. It's okay. Enjoy these all products hardly once in 15 days or once in a month on your occasions, on certain events. If you're enjoying these things, acceptable. But if it's coming into every week, then it's a problem. Okay, because our lifestyle has become so sedentary that we are unable to burn the calories. We are storing a lot of energies, right? So that's the reason. And lastly, you have to make sure you sleep before 11 p.m. anyhow, so that in your sleep time your metabolism will work in a right way to detox your body, to repair your body at night time, and to restore all the memories. Okay, so that you will come out of the brain fog. Okay, so this 4 steps you have to just do it for next 7 days and see how do you feel. Whatever is your experience, do share with me in the next session, because next session is also about the thyroid problems. So that we will be talking a little more scientific but in a easy way, so that you understand why you are going through particular conditions. Okay, so if you're participating in this all task, and if you like to put it on the social media, please tag Times Health Plus and get a chance to win the wellness goodies. Do not forget to follow us for all these updates. This whole sessions are going to get uploaded on Times Health Plus so that you can refer at any time. Okay, fine. With this, let's start with Q&A session. If anybody has any questions, any queries related to thyroid, please put it down in the comment section. I'll answer them. Okay, rest of the diseases we have already done previously. Please do look refer to those videos also and get an understanding about other diseases also. Shashwat ji says, very good session, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you are understanding these all health conditions, because we have to become serious about our own health, right? We need to take that charge, that stand towards our own health, right? So, if anybody has any more questions related to today's session, you can put it down. We are going to talk even more in brief related to thyroid in the next session. Next session will be even more interesting, so please do attend that session also, so that you get a very brief understanding. Okay, any more questions or shall I wind up? We do have time. Okay, Umesh ji says, is dhania good for thyroid? Yes, dhania seed water is very good for thyroid. It also cools your internal system. It makes your digestion so better, your gut health better, so that your hormones can work more effectively. Okay, so if you want to take this dhania water, 1 tsp, just putting into 1 glass of water, overnight soak it. If you want morning, you can boil it slightly and drink the water. Or if you take it as it is in the morning on empty stomach, then you will see very good results. Okay. Okay, Shashwat ji says, I am experiencing hyperthyroid symptoms rather than hypothyroid symptoms. Okay, so if you are seeing hyperthyroid symptoms more, okay, Shashwat ji say, but doctor has diagnosed hypothyroid. Okay, sometimes what happens is the symptoms might correlate, interconnect with each other also, depending upon the other factors that are functioning along with thyroid. So if you have cholesterol also along with this, or if you have diabetes issue along with this, then because of that you might end up into hypothyroid also, keeping the hyperthyroid symptoms also involved. Okay, so it it is because you have other conditions, that's the reason. But otherwise, if you have exclusively only that condition, then that could be because either you are on a higher weight side already, or if you are on a lower weight side already, because of that the conditions have been diagnosed in that particular way, or whatever the results have come into your blood stream, that blood report, on that basis he must have diagnosed. Okay. Yeah. So Umeshji says Brazil nut at which type, or at which type good to take, which time? Okay. So basically, if you are taking Brazil nut, one Brazil nut every day is sufficient, preferably early morning on empty stomach. Like if you take the dhania water or just a plain water, post that you can have this Brazil nut, and then you can start your day, because then the selenium that will be released will help into your overall day's metabolism. Okay, fine. Anything else? Anyone else who wants to talk, ask any queries? Okay, I guess today's session was okay. There are one more thing, ma'am. Can you arrange a session on tinnitus? Yes, yes, sure. So currently we are just focusing on the major hormones or major organs, and then we will come on a series where we will talk about the very minute and sometimes unique kind of conditions. Okay. So for that also we will put one of the session, surely. Please, you can give in the feedback forms that what all requirements you have regarding particular health conditions, so we will get an understanding that what's your demand is, and accordingly we'll put up the sessions. Okay. Okay, chalo. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope the session was more informative. Please do practice in the task that I have given to you, and eat with awareness without any stress, hydrate very well, and take care. Namaste. Happy weekend.